Why can't I? Glasses. Glasses would be a good idea, wouldn't they? From Dispatches from the Frat House. How is everybody doing? Long time no see. I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. I'm here. I needed a little bit of a break, and it wasn't like I chose, oh hey, I'm gonna take a break. Like, circumstances just kind of chose that I was gonna have to take a break. But I'm back, and I'm so glad, and I feel like I have 8 million things to show you guys. So, I think a good place to start would be with our monthly videos with Romany and Vicky and myself. We have a group on Facebook, and I will put the link down below, or a page I should say, that you guys can come and take a peek at, and all our stuff that kind of pertains to the videos that we're doing together will go there. And same thing always applies, you guys. If you see a topic, we're gonna do like a topic a month. Some months it may be more than one video about that topic. We just kind of decided on 12 topics for the year, and then figured, you know, however you want to do it. So like this month I'll probably have 2, and by golly, I'm gonna get them in before the end of January if it kills me. So this month was getting started. Before we had even chosen topics, Vicky did a couple of fantastic videos about choosing a journal, brainstorming about a planner for the year, that kind of thing. And we thought, what a fantastic topic, because it kind of applies to everybody sometimes, regardless of whether you're just starting out with planning, or if you've been planning for a while and you're feeling like things aren't working for you. I know a lot of people would call that planner fail. And I know a lot of times myself, I've been using a paper planner. I've always been a paper person. You guys know that. So what I realized as I got older, and you know, I started having like to be responsible for the kids and whatnot as I got older, and I had responsibilities outside of my own, I needed to change the system that I was using. And that was when I really kind of embraced the idea of having a system or a process. And to me, that's the best place to get started. Get some kind of working system or process nailed down. For me, I had to do that before I went and started buying binders and buying inserts, because this was quite a while ago. Not pre-internet, okay? I am that old, but it wasn't when I was kind of really going back into more than just carrying, you know, a tiny little pocket notebook with me, and that was it. When I was really kind of missing a paper planner. My first 2 kids were born like back to back, 16 months apart, and once the second one came, it was like, okay, I still have things to do too, on top of taking care of these guys. So I really wanted to revisit my system or my process. And to me, that's the best place to get started, because if you have a good system, a good reliable system or process that works for you, that you can turn into a habit, then you can use any binder, any inserts really, as long as you maintain that system or process. And people have asked, and I know people have asked Romany as well, you know, how do you change so much without losing things? Listen, even if I'm not changing systems, I lose things. I'm human, okay? Things get forgotten, or I don't write something down when I should, so it gets lost. So things do still get lost, speaking for myself, okay? But I can change from one size to another. I can change from one insert to another depending on what my needs are, because I know that I have a reliable process, okay? So, you know, if you like one type of notebook over the other, for me personally, I had to set that aside when I was first really trying to nail down a system to get started with. I started with, and I know I've told you guys this before, I started with a blank notebook. I found a notebook that I liked, that I knew that I would carry because I liked it, and it was small enough, not so small that I couldn't keep track of stuff in it, but small enough that I knew darn well I could put it in my bag and I would always have it with me. Because to me, the two kind of tenets for any system, regardless of how you do your planning, just from looking at other people's videos and reading blog posts and whatnot, it seems like across the board, the two kind of big ideas behind getting this habit started of having a planner that is reliable is the idea of capturing everything, and that comes from David Allen from Getting Things Done, write stuff down. If you have an idea, write it down. If you're in the middle of the grocery store and you randomly remember some crazy unrelated thing to the grocery store trip, doesn't matter. Get that book out and write it down. Sit down the night before and look at what your next day is going to look like and write it out. And that's where kind of the second idea that I've kind of really realized a lot of people are gravitating toward, which I think is great, is this idea from bullet journaling from Ryder Carroll of rapid logging. The idea of sitting down, getting everything upcoming out of your head. You know, if that means you sit down and do a brain dump, you guys have probably all seen our brain dump videos by now. There are a ton of them out there. They're fantastic. I love seeing different ways people do that. You know, if it means sitting down and just getting everything out of your head, once I do that, once I kind of, because sometimes my brain will get going, right? And I'll think, oh, this would be a good idea. And oh yeah, I got to remember to do that. And oh yeah, even if I know I already have it written down in my planner, I just have to sit down with a piece of paper and just bleh and get it all out of my head, okay? Once I have done that, you know, mentally I feel a little bit cleaned out. You know, I can process rather than using my brain for storage, because your brain's for thinking, not for storage. And I can sit down and look at my day and go, okay, I need to do this today. I need to do that today. I need to be here at a certain time today. I have to drop so-and-so off at a certain time today. I have to remind Dakota to pick so-and-so up at a certain time of day. Here's where Mike's going to be today, so he's not going to be able to do this, so I have to do it. That kind of thing. That rapidly getting your day down. For me, it's my day. For some people, it's their week, you know, whatever section of time works for you. And then it's a question of throughout the day, continuing to write things down as they come to you. Okay? It may not be something that you can do anything with other than just write it down. But for me, at least, if I don't write that stuff down when I think of it, it's gone. Give me 2 minutes and it will be gone. Or I will keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it so that I don't forget until I can write it down. And then there will be 5 other things that I forgot in the process of trying to remember this one thing that I felt was so important. Okay? So finding a blank notebook, doesn't matter if it's blank paper, doesn't matter if it's grid paper, it could be lined paper, it could be purple paper, whatever you know that you will use. Because to me, the idea when I was really trying to iron out a process and getting started with that was, I just need something that I know I will have with me and that I know that I like enough to use. If I cannot stand this notebook, I won't use it. With a little discipline, I might use it for maybe a week, but it had to be something that I knew I wasn't going to keep long term. I was trying to get into, at the time, I was going to get a Franklin Covey binder, and I was pretty sure I knew what size because I, you know, had paper planners before, but the idea of having something that was always with me, capturing everything very loosely, you know, it was very bullet journal style, even though this was way before bullet journaling. It was like that, just whatever things came to me, I wrote them down. Whenever I needed to make a note, I wrote it down. Whenever I had an idea, I wrote it down. The night before, I would sit down and look at, okay, what are my appointments? And the nice thing about it being a blank notebook is that if you feel like, okay, I need to start over, let's say I have a planner and it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot my dentist appointment and I forgot that so-and-so had track practice on such a day, and you know that it had gotten rescheduled and I forgot about it, and I'm not, you know, I forgot I had to do this task for work and I forgot to send that email, and oh my gosh, when you get feeling like that, something's not working, right? And a lot of times even people who have been planner people for a long time feel the need to kind of have a clean sweep and get started over again. So if you're in that boat where if you have like layouts in your book or, you know, a process that you feel isn't working for you, what I do when those changes come to our schedule, I mean, I know they're coming, you know, if I know track season is starting or I know marching band season is starting, I know things are going to start to get chaotic, you know? So when I was looking for layouts that would help me not miss stuff, I learned very quickly just by looking like online at Filofaxy is a wonderful resource for things. Just looking through those different layouts, here's the information I need, spit it all out on a piece of paper. Now I have all these different kids with all these different schedules. They don't all drive yet, so obviously, so I need to do that running or entail the ones who do drive to help. You know, what is a way to lay that out on paper that is the best way for me to look at it so that I don't miss anything? For me, when we have multiple kids doing multiple things, I need a vertical for the day, week on 2 pages, so that I can see, you know, child A has this from this time to this time, child B has this from this time to this time. Neither of those are things I need to be at, you know, like meetings at school and stuff like that that are not something like parents go to, obviously, like student council or key club or whatever. So, okay, make sure I get this kid dropped off at this time, and then I gotta get this kid dropped off at this time, and then I gotta pick him up at this time, and then I gotta pick him up at this time. And all, for my brain, color-coded, so I can see where those overlaps are. Okay? So when you're getting started, if you start with something blank, you can go online to someplace like Filofaxy that has a ton of different layouts and look at it and go, okay, I did a huge brain dump, I got all this stuff out of my head. You know, don't organize it while you're getting it out, just get it out. Even if it means taking a bunch of different Post-it notes. See, this Post-it note has all the appointments on it, or this pile of Post-it notes is all appointments. You know, this pile of Post-it notes is all tasks for work. This pile of Post-it notes is all tasks for the house. Whatever works for you. And then sort them and go, okay, appointments. Do I need something timed for appointments? Or can I put these in a list on one page, and then as my days roll by, I'll just keep consulting that page. As your days go by, you start to develop this habit. So if you have a process of looking at your planner every day, making sure you're writing everything down, giving your day or your week a quick glance at night before you go to bed, let's say, so that you have an idea of what's coming the next day, maybe beginning to write out what's coming the next day or drawing out the schedule for the next day, you will be able to chip away at what definitely works for you versus what definitely doesn't. And then from there, you're not buying a ton of different inserts with a ton of different layouts for a ton of different things that you end up not using because your process, the underlying process, isn't working. Your process, to me at least, is my foundation. It's the habit that I have formed that helps me make sure that I'm catching things, that I'm reviewing things, so that things don't fall through the cracks. Things still do fall through the cracks. Don't get me wrong, okay? Nobody is perfect. Things definitely fall through the cracks here. The other thing about getting started, I will do also like a getting started journaling video. You guys know I'm not a big journaler. Romany and Vicky have the most beautiful journaling techniques and layouts, and I love seeing what they've done. My brain is just so linear sometimes and just very analytical. That just tends to be me. But I will show you guys something really cool about how I at least journal a little bit every day. It's not a Dear Diary type of thing. It's called a daily log. I'm going to do a separate video on it. But that's kind of a tangent. Sorry, guys. There's the getting started journaling. I'll do that separately. But when you are either getting started with planning or you feel like your system that you have isn't working for you, I think a lot of us, our natural reaction is, okay, I need a different layout for my pages, or I need a different book because this isn't working. Now, don't get me wrong. In some cases, that's a fact. You know, let's say you have a zippered binder that you're unhappy with, and you're maybe your pages aren't the right size in it, or whatever the case may be, and you're tearing up your pages with the zipper. Or you got a book and you loved it, but it's just too big to take with you. You found that it's heavy, or it's size-wise, it's too large to take with you. You know, the physical attributes of your book, I get that can absolutely have an effect on whether or not your planner is working for you, because it goes right back to that foundational idea of have it with you. And if it's too big, if it's too heavy, if it's cumbersome, you're not going to always have it with you. Okay, if you don't like the way it's organized, and that's where for a lot of people, having a ringed binder versus a bound type of book or a traveler's notebook type of book, that's where that'll come into play. I like being able to move my pages around, or I can't stand, writing with the rings. That's all personal preference. Neither one is right or wrong. I was really surprised in October when I posted my Malden video, how many people were like, you're not planning in a traveler's notebook anymore. It was easy to go back and forth because I have a process. So switching back and forth, not a big deal. Additionally, once you can nail down a size that you like I always tell you guys, personal size is my comfort size. Personal size is the size that I've used the most my entire life. And I've been planning for a long time. Personal size is my comfort zone. So if I can stick to, say, a personal size ring binder, I can change layouts willy-nilly as long as I, especially now that there's Etsy, if I feel like printing and cutting pages and punching pages, I can change layouts as much as I want as long as I stick in that one size, So that's something to consider as far as getting started. But really, if you're looking on YouTube for ideas, I can tell you two things about that I've learned. The first thing is really try hard not to get sucked into trying to make your pages look like everybody else's, because there are some people online who do some gorgeous planner layouts. A lot of people on YouTube, beautiful planner layouts using beautiful kits, you know, stickers from different places, inserts from different places, and I love it. I think it's amazing. I will get drawn into the cute and the pretty so fast. For me, at the end of the day, my planner is about me getting my stuff done and not losing things and not forgetting things. For me, like I said, my analytical brain, I will lose things in all the pretty if I go too pretty, because I've done it. I have done it. So try not to compare what you have in your book to what somebody else has in their book. And if you are doing that and making your planner all pretty and you're still not getting stuff done, or you're finding you're losing things, you know, maybe the solution is to not have it be so pretty, because maybe that's just not how your brain works. Maybe the solution is to do two and have one be more like a journal. Here's what I did today, and have the other one be, here are my tasks, here are my appointments, here are my, I know several people do that. They have one that's kind of looking back on their day or their week, and it's gorgeous, and you know what you have to put in those days, you know how much space you need. There's that option too. The other thing I can tell you, if you're going to watch videos on YouTube to try to get motivated or get planner ideas or anything, if let's say you already have a ringed planner and you intend to use that ringed planner, please don't limit yourself to only watching videos about ringed binders, because there is a plethora of information out there, you guys. Regardless of the book that it's in, the ideas behind it, the process behind it, it really doesn't matter. Now Mike's calling. Okay, sorry. You guys saw at the beginning, right? I got interrupted like 1,500 times. Anyway, the process that somebody uses to plan can be very evident, whether they just outright talk about it or just by seeing their planner. And if you are one who uses, say, you know, a bound notebook, like a traveler's notebook, and you're not watching any videos at all about ringed planners, you're missing all of the information that those people who are using ringed planners are throwing out there. And a lot of it is process. It's not about the physical book itself. Vice versa, if you are in a ringed planner and you're never looking at any traveler's notebook videos because it's just not your thing, and you just don't like the you know, aesthetics of it, or you just don't like the bound books, you like having your rings to move stuff around, nothing wrong with either one at all. But if you're only watching one or the other, you're missing half the information that's out there, okay? So regardless of what somebody is planning in, give them a peek. You know, they may be doing some really cool stuff that's really getting their stuff done in a way that maybe is new to you, but you're not seeing it because you're in this and they're in that. Does that make sense? So be open-minded, I guess, is my other thing about getting started with planning. So I think that's pretty much it for as far as getting started planning. Go with a blank book, write everything down, always have it with you. Look at what's coming up for the week and what's coming up the next day, like the night before, and develop habits, develop good planning habits. You need to watch hockey?
Yes.
I'm not gonna stop getting interrupted, that's all there is to it.
Cammy hockey.
That is okay. That's kind of my biggest stuff as far as, you know, getting started. And I can show you guys, like, it was funny, Vicki, you know, had said that she felt the need to kind of start clean and kind of go back to figuring out a kind of a basic, clean, artistic way to plan for her. And it was so funny because it hit me at the same time. And I hadn't said anything to her. We hadn't, you know, I mean, we had chit-chatted and stuff, but we hadn't like talked about it. I seriously, in the middle of this book, you guys, I just have plain graph paper. That's it. Is the full-on thing bullet journal? No, it's not, but my dailies definitely are. Because I had really, it was about this time last year that I went down to the tiny planner again because I wasn't taking my planner with me all the time. Same thing, just what our schedule entails at this time of year. I will not take anything bigger than this with me. I just won't, because I'll be like, oh, it's one more thing, and da-da-da-da, and I'll just, you know, grab my phone and my license and the debit card and leave. And I can't do that. I know I can't do that. So, you know, if you go from blank pages, all right, totally blank pages, and just start writing down your days. Just start, see, just appointments, mark off your day, It's not super fancy. Do I wish it was prettier? Sometimes I do. Yeah, because I like the pretty. I truly do. But I will get sucked into it and I will lose. I don't know what you want, sweetheart. I will lose the idea of getting my stuff done.
Hockey.
What kind of hockey?
Cammy hockey.
Oh, I know what you want. Seriously, guys, I'm not going to... I just didn't want to pause the camera again. So, you know, I went from blank pages to something like this. I've got tasks for the day. I've got quotes that I ran across that I liked. Tasks for the day over there. Information because I had to take Clayton to the doctor. So what they had prescribed for him. Okay, let's see if I can cover some stuff up here. Okay, I can't show you that page, I'm sorry. Stuff for the clinic, you know, lists for stuff for Target. I just dumped it all onto blank pages because then it wasn't living up here, you know, and that trickles down. So if you start writing everything down and you start reviewing at night and your day the day you just had and kind of getting an idea of what tomorrow is going to look like, that to me saves me time in the long run, because things like, oh, I have to remember that I have to go get Jack a binder and I know they have it at Office Max, and oh, Coda has to work tomorrow afternoon and he works at the opposite end of that mall from Office Max. I can ask him to run to Office Max before he punches in at work, grab Jack's binder. We're not taking 2 trips with 2 separate cars to basically the same place, and we're not doing double the time going to basically the same place. So that's where that whole getting into this habit of having a system of looking at your day, seeing what you got done, seeing what you didn't get done, which will catch tasks so they don't fall through the cracks, which I am notorious for. Getting an idea of what your next day looks like and kind of pre-planning a little bit. You don't have to schedule out every minute of the day if you don't want to, but things like errands. We have so many people in the house, errands kill me. So, you know, being able to split those up, being able to be smart about your time, it all comes from this, you guys. It all comes from a blank freaking page, okay? And then from there, by all means, once you have a system, a foundation that feels right and you know is working, get fancy. Put it in, you know, something different. Put it in a ringed binder if you want. Put it in a Hobonichi if you want. Put it in a bigger traveler's notebook if you want. You can put it in whatever you want, as long as you are being true to that habit that you have developed, as long as it's working for you. Once you get that started, you'll get past the point of getting started. Does that make sense? And then you'll notice you're getting stuff done. You won't be storing so much in your head. You won't be panicking so much about what you are and are not getting done. Okay? So I hope that's helpful, you guys. I feel like I kind of rambled. I'm sorry for the interruptions. I think if he's going to be entertained, I'm going to go ahead and record another one right after this, and I'll show you guys what I've got. I know several of you asked, those charms are really loud. Several of you guys have asked what's going on in here, if I'm still using Malden, what I'm using this and that for. So I'm gonna go stick my head in on him and see what he's doing, and then I'll show you. Okay, thank you so much, guys. If you have videos about getting started, if you have advice for any about getting started, if you want to tell your story about how you got started and found a system that works for you, please, by all means, make a video, write a blog post, whatever works, and let us know. I will put the link to the Facebook page down below so that you can post your links there to your videos so that we can see them. Okay, thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.